Life is waiting for you each day, and you have to prepare for each challenge along the way toward success. It's not simple, but it can be done. Welcome to my Common Sense Motivation episodes. I'm Chris Fantastic Powell. Time is not waiting for you to become serious. Time is not waiting for you to become serious about your life. Time will not stop while you decide whether your goals are important enough. Time will not slow down while you keep making excuses. Time will not pause while you wait for the perfect moment. And time moves whether you move or not. Every second, every hour, and every year is going somewhere. The question is, are you going somewhere with it? Too many people believe they have plenty of time. They say, I'll start tomorrow. I'll get serious next week. I'll work on my goal when life calms down. I'll make the change when I feel ready. But tomorrow keeps becoming another tomorrow. Weeks become months. Months become years. And one day, the person who thought they had plenty of time looks back and asks, where did time go? Time did not disappear. Time kept moving. You were the one standing still. There's nothing wrong with resting. There is nothing wrong with taking time to think, heal, and prepare. But do not confuse resting with quitting. Do not confuse preparing with delaying. And do not confuse thinking about your goal with working toward it. You do not have to complete everything today, but you must begin doing something. Make the call, write the first page, take the first walk, save the first dollar, apply for the opportunity, apologize to a person, start a business, take a class. But you have to do one thing today that your future will thank you for. Because while time keeps moving, while you stand still, it eventually introduces you to regret. The story of Mr. Time and Mr. Regret. There was once a man named Daniel who dreamed of opening a small business. Every morning, Mr. Time walked past Daniel's house carrying a large clock. Mr. Time would knock on the door and say, Daniel, today is another opportunity. Are you ready to begin? Daniel smiled and answered, not today. I need a little more time. Mr. Time never argued. He simply nodded and continued walking. The next morning, Mr. Time returned. Are you ready today? Daniel replied, I'm not thinking about it. Come back tomorrow. So Mr. Time kept walking. Days became months. Months became years. Daniel continued talking about the business he wanted to build, but he never wrote a plan, saved the money, or took the first step. One evening, there was another knock at the door. Daniel opened it, expecting to see Mr. Time, but a different man was standing there. He wore a heavy coat, carried an old suitcase, and had sadness in his eyes. Who are you? Daniel asked. The man replied, My name is Mr. Regret. Daniel looked past him and asked, Where's Mr. Time? Mr. Regret answered, Mr. Time has already passed this house thousands of times. You kept telling him to come back tomorrow. Eventually, he had to continue without you. Daniel lowered his head. Mr. Regret opened his suitcase. Inside were all the opportunities Daniel had ignored. The unfinished plans, the unused ideas, the phone calls he never made. The chances he allowed to pass. Daniel asked, Can I have them back? Mr. Regret shook his head. No, I can only show you what you refuse to use. And Daniel became sad. Then, from the far road, he heard the fainting ticking of the clock. Mr. Time had not completely disappeared. There was still some distance left between him and the end of the road. Daniel quickly stood up. He looked at Mr. Regret and said, You will not be moving into my house today. And Daniel ran after Mr. Time. He could not recover the time he had already lost, but he could stop wasting the time he still had. That day, Daniel wrote a plan. The next day, he made his first call. Then he saved, worked, learned, failed, adjusted, and kept going. Years later, the business finally opened. Daniel placed a clock on the wall with a sign beneath it that read, Time does not wait for you to become ready. Start before regret arrives. That is the lesson. You may have wasted time. You may have delayed your goals. You may have allowed fear and excuses to keep you from standing still. You may have allowed fear and excuses to keep you standing still. But if you are still here, Mr. Time is still somewhere on the road in front of you. Do not sit down and complain about the time that is gone. Stand up and use the time that remains. You cannot control how fast time moves, but you can control whether you move with it. Stop waiting to become serious and get serious today. Do not let Mr. Regret carry a suitcase filled with the life you were supposed to live. Catch up with Mr. Time. Take the step, begin the work. Move toward your future before time leaves you standing beside your excuses. Make it happen. I'm Chris Fantastic Powell. Thank you for listening.
For books, ebooks, or audiobooks, visit chrisfantasticpowell.com or find them on Amazon.